Hi, everybody. This is Monty with Mindful Higher Ed. And in this video, I wanted to talk about a little bit about my work with incarcerated persons and formerly incarcerated persons, and how mindfulness or meditation can be a tool to help anybody, regardless of what status in society you are. In my opinion, meditation is the great equalizer and a door that opens love and compassion for everybody. So I'm going to talk more about that coming up. Hi, everybody. This is Monty with Mindful Higher Ed. And in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit more about my work with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated persons. And I first got involved with this, back in spring of 2013, 8 years ago now. My friend and colleague, Kevin Heffernan, who is the Buddhist chaplain at the University of Richmond, he had been going to the Richmond City Jail for a number of years, as I understand it, teaching the inmates how to meditate. And of course, this comes from a great tradition going back, I don't know how many years, where in places of incarceration, there are curricular and extracurricular activities like yoga and various programs like Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. And Kevin had been going once a week to the Richmond City Jail to sit with the men's group and women's group, I think separately, and just teaching them some basic skills of breath awareness, of concentration, meditation. And at the Richmond City Jail, the director at the time, a really big, burly guy named John Dooley, Big John. John, he had this room at the jail called the Sanctuary. And in the Sanctuary, it was a room maybe that was 10 feet wide by 20 feet long. And it was crammed with books, and there was a computer, and all around the walls were plastered images of civil rights heroes like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Cesar Chavez, Mother Teresa, people who were uplifting and inspiring. And I remember when I went with Kevin to the jail for the very first time, we were crammed into this room, but there were about, I think, 15 of us with the men's group. And I just sat with Kevin, and it was my first time ever in a prison. And I didn't know what to expect. But what blew me away was one of the inmates there. He had a facial features very similar to my grandfather, and there and then I realized, oh my God, I could be in here if life were different. People of my ancestry could be here if you know. And I realized in that moment there was no difference between me and the people I was sitting with. It was just differences in terms of life path issues, or life experienced issues, right? Um, and so I sat a couple of times more with Kevin, and then Big John said, do you want to do your own class? And I started coming into the Richmond City Jail, not that often, maybe once every few weeks, to do a class in current events. And then when the jail moved to the new facility, it was remodeled and rebuilt. And sadly, it was actually rebuilt by people who were formerly incarcerated, who some of them who actually would later go on to be reincarcerated in the very facility that they were constructing. The other director at the time was Ray Tatamy, and Ray is a great, beautiful soul. I became more comfortable with teaching meditation just outright. And little by little, I sort of transitioned from teaching current events to just teaching meditation or teaching mindfulness. I would go back and forth over the years to the jail, sometimes working with the men's group, sometimes working with the women's group. And what I always experienced was, number one, people were curious about meditation. What is it? How does it work? Who is this guy coming in with a meditation bell and looking all chill? And why is he here, right? And then number two, when the giggles and laughter would subside, and we did a practice session of guided breath awareness, or I think even with the women's group, I even did some loving kindness meditations. Things changed. The atmosphere became more vulnerable. People began to share. Sometimes people would cry. Um, and I was just kind of making it up as I go along, as I deepened my own meditation practice. And I just wanted to create these moments of authenticity, um, just to give everybody a moment to breathe, a moment just to sit back and relax. Um, and so I did that until I think spring of 2019. And then once the pandemic hit, I didn't go back to the jail. Nobody I knew was going back to the jail because COVID rates are going up so high, and we just didn't know what to do. And so I approached one nonprofit organization in the city of Richmond called the Real Life Program. And the Real Life Program is run by a really dynamic, compassionate individual named Sarah Scarborough. And I said to Sarah, hey, I teach on Zoom these days. Could I do an intro to meditation class for the Real Life Program for men and women who are recovering from these everyday life addictions? And Sarah had said, sure, why not? And that began in October of 2020. And so I've been doing a weekly group now on meditation for the men and women of the Real Life Program uh, for the past 7 or 8 months now. And it's been great. We get a nice turnout, anywhere from 15 to 25 people once a week. And I do my thing. We do guided breath awareness. We do body scan meditations. We do loving kindness meditations. I talk about the differences between concentration meditation and insight or vipassana meditation as I learn and deepen my own practice. And what I can say is invariably working with all of these people over these months and years is people just want to feel love. They want to feel heard. They want to feel included. They want to feel compassion. No matter who you are, it doesn't matter if you've been to prison or not. We all want the same thing. We all want to be happy. We all want to be treated with respect and dignity. And in my opinion, meditation is a way to open more of that door of compassion and love to one another. It's not the only way. You can practice lots of ways to connect, but I think there is something about following the breath as part of our shared experience, of our shared humanity, of just breathing in and breathing out, and knowing that we're all connected with that same experience, whether you're black or white, straight or gay, rich or poor, young or old, to the left or to the right, if you're American or not, we breathe. And the breath is the great uniter, the great transformer. And we breathe anywhere from 17,000 to 25,000 times a day, but we never realize that we're breathing because we're caught up in our thoughts of worry, of what do I do yesterday or tomorrow? Um, and it's been fun. So I'm proud to do this work. I am learning so much. I am still learning as I develop my own daily practice. But I wanted to share a little bit more with you guys. I don't think I've ever spoken about my work with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated persons on this YouTube channel, but I just thought I'd share. And so if you like this video, please click subscribe. If you have questions or comments about meditation or about working with incarcerated groups, I'm happy to answer them. And with that, thank you so much, my friends. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.